the libertarian show where they talk to. It's like half Mises people and half non-Mises people.
Oh, that sounds like a show.
It's a show. It was me and one other person on there saying, maybe the Fed is not the evil of every single thing that's ever happened. Boy, you'd think I'd just kicked a puppy right in front of him.
Oh man. Yeah, it's also like God, I can't believe you say
that. How dare you not blame the thing that we all want to blame, because it's easier than actually looking at the problem.
You're about as bad as when I say like taxation is theft, unless it's a user fee. I'm like, what? We are okay. I thought we were okay with user fees. If you use the service, pay for it. What's wrong? Yeah. What did I say?
It's a complete choice at that point. Yeah. It's not against will.
Just like it's perfectly fine to charge people for uses. It's fine.
It's just we don't want ads on our roads. Come on.
I think I pissed off Odie again. So
we do the ad-free tier, obviously. Ad-free tier of roads.
I don't know. Like that's the other thing. That's like, so the statement that always like bugged me, that really got me radical on the idea of like bicycle infrastructure and walk infrastructure, is the idea that the roads is the commonplace, and we have dedicated this massive area of space to private cars. That's just like, wait a minute.
Somebody last night was trying to make the difference between like the roads are a public space. The military base down the road, that's a state owned base, right? That's the government base. So it's like it's not public's not necessarily government. So they're trying to make that difference.
Okay. I can kind of see the gym that I can see it.
See where he's trying to go there.
I see. Yeah. I see where he's trying to go. I see it.
It's like watching people just try to justify their biases. That's the fun part.
Oh yeah. But no, that's the thing that radicalized me on the whole like the car and bike infrastructure. It's like we do give just feet to private cars. Because like my whole hang up of trains is like, oh, we can't just give all this land to these trains. And you start like, wait a minute, but if it said car and private, I'm okay with it. This is stupid. This is dumb. Hold on.
And we pay
so what do you say?
A user fee.
So you're saying, Harry, the purple line is a good idea?
No, the purple line is dumb. The idea of a bus.
The red line now.
The idea of a bus system is perfectly fine. The way that Indianapolis implements it, that's the problem. That's the issue.
So for the first time in a long time, I went to Broad Ripple.
I'm sorry.
I took my wife up there because she was a place there that was going to do her hair the way she wanted it done, blah, 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 whatever. Fine. I took her there. And it was like driving down College and seeing like the median in between. And that's where the bus drives over the median. And it's just like, Heather's like, what is that? I'm like, that's where the bus goes. It's like those RC cars, it just keeps it on the track.
Yep. Yeah. I almost wish we had solved this problem like decades ago, like with a trolley or something. And the idea like, well, we wanted to make it electric, not gas powered. Like, cool. Could we have an electrified grid that it can attach to? Why would we?
I'd say all those wires were ugly.
All right, yeah. I like. I'm cyberpunk, so I like wires.
But you can run those underground too, right? I mean, you don't.
Yeah,
have
you
to
can.
run them
Yeah. We can
nowadays.
Nice. Yeah, we can make it look nice. Or wireless. We can make it look nice. Actually, that's what they're doing. That's why it takes so long to build these stupid bus stations. Like what, 3 years to make a concrete bus station? They're still
remember.
Okay, so the place we used to go for Liberty Chill, that bus station that they started all those years ago, there still hasn't got one rider at that bus station.
Oh no, the road that's right there. They've paved part of it. Now they've destroyed the other half of the road, and it's just the baseline underneath where the pavement normally is.
Yeah, so like I had to turn left. I had to turn left on that road, right? Because I was going to the pizza place with the monkey over there in that area. Yeah. And when I turned on it, I was like, I thought they were redoing this road. What?
They did. They did the middle road.
How they've been on this road for how long?
Too long.
It's just remember the slot cars we used to use as kids, right? They ran electricity up through the bottom on the slot car. I mean, it's not new technology to power these things through electric grid instead of like battery run. But
yeah. I was upset the little pride thing doesn't come through on the the unicorns and all that stuff. It looks really cool on YouTube from Jackie. Anyways, hi everybody, and welcome to an exciting new episode of Low Key on the We Libertarian Network. I'm your host, Harry, aka Louis Target, and we just kind of went off. Got us under 10 minutes. We're still going to introduce ourselves before the 10-minute marker because we're not like that evil, awful show that happens on Fridays, But besides that, let me get all the guests. Wait a minute, this is why it's weird. Oh God, okay.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, why does this look
weird?
I was just gonna let it ride.
Rhino knows where he belongs.
Trying to say I'm the bottom is what we're saying.
Rhino knows where he belongs.
Right.
And Rhino will tell you there's nothing wrong with every top needs a bottom. Okay, you're not a top unless you have a bottom. So Reinhold, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, it's Reinhold. After a 3-hour marathon last night, I'm ready to go. Let's get this done. Get her done.
Yeah. And we also everyone's are also a roundabout enjoyer. Vincent, what you can say, huh?
Hey everyone. Sometimes I wish I was as big a hater as Kendrick Lamar is. Sometimes I wish I had that much hate in my heart.
The hateration.
For context, Reinhold, on Juneteenth, Kendrick Lamar did a pop-up show. During the pop-up show, he played the song Not Like Us 5 times in a row. Mm-hmm. And then a 6th time, just the audio where everybody in the crowd sang the song for him.
Did you see the joke swap that they did at the end of the season on Saturday Night Live? It was Michael Jost gave Jost gave Che a thing to read where he was calling out Lamar, saying, I have beef with you. You come after me. And then the whole time, Michael Che's like, oh, I don't like this at all.
That's a bad idea. Yeah, but this man literally held a concert where he played his diss tracks and a couple other songs. But playing the diss track 5 times in a row and then a 6th time, just the fans.
It's awesome. It's
and then there's just a picture of all the people on stage with him, and it's just like this massive group of people.
Yep. And did you see the Amazon music tweet?
No.
It goes like, "Oh, this is family."
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh man.
Jesus. It's like Amazon is like, how do we make money off of this holiday? I know.
They can't be mad at us for behind this much hate.
Exactly. Yeah. There's just so much hate here.
I know. On it's such a joyous day. It should be a joyous day. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Hey, yeah. So, Jackie, I'm glad you survived your roundabout. Roundabouts are awesome and amazing. There makes intersections safer. Help keeps things moving when designed properly and well. Helps keep things moving properly.
Designed properly and well, and people actually heed to the traffic circle situations. But it's either here or there.
It's a funny thing about the city skylines too, is that you can design your own kind of intersection roundabouts, whatever you want to do to get the traffic flowing. And they're finding that there are people who've come up with some really interesting ways that with the simulation make the traffic flow a lot better.
Nice.
And they're actually thinking about trying to implement some of those designs that people have come up with.
It can't be worse than some of the other designs, like people who go to college make some terrible designs. Like the 4-leaf clover is a brilliant design. The person who decided to have a very short route lead up to a highway at 25 miles per hour on a curve to go to 25 to 70 at less than a quarter mile. I don't know who designed that. Me personally, I'm alone. That's fun. It's fun to me. But majority of the people in their SUVs would worry about they're going to tip over. They don't start going 70 until they get a straight line. It's terrible. It's awful.
Well, that's the great thing about having the simulator is that you can actually run those through and see how they're going to work, and you can weed out some of those bad ones. Yeah, that people just kind of put into play and say, "Well, we think this will work."
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Most of Indianapolis infrastructure is like that, though. Well, Indiana.
Well, they're putting those. They're going to put those stoplights at the end of on the ramps, so that's going to help.
Yeah, with the sign, 1 car per green light. That's going to work.
Mm-hmm. Which is Chicago so well. There's no traffic in Chicago.
0. I barely felt it.
I'm waiting for the express lanes to come in. You know, they put the express lanes were one direction, one during the morning, and they switch it over to the other direction at night, like they did in Chicago. That's going to be a good time.
Yeah, in the big corridor. Yeah. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. You know.
And this is why I refuse to use the highway if I can help it. It just sounds like more of an inconvenience than anything at this point.
All I'm saying is it used to be that you could get from anywhere in Indianapolis to somewhere else in Indianapolis in 20 minutes, but now it's just nothing but construction and everything's closed, and it takes forever to do anything anymore.
Yeah. You can't get there from here now.
You almost get there faster by riding in red line or the purple line or something.
It's only the red line really. Well, the only red line exists right now, so it's only a red line. Yep.
It's funny because we were driving down by those, and like I said, it's the first time Heather's seen them. I'm like, yeah, the thing is hardly anybody rides them. She goes, look, there's one person right there waiting for it. I'm like, yeah, one person. Waiting. I could have been in a car. They could have been there already.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's about okay.
Taxi or Uber or something.
I don't want to like turn this into the public transportation, but that's my other thing. It's like for so many times they try to make public transportation with this idea that they're going to get like all these, like I don't know, like for some reason like low income people to get a ride on the bus. Is like no low income people are, or find other ways to get around, and yes, they're going to ride the bus. But the real meat and potatoes people you want to ride on the bus is the upper class. That's who you want on the freaking bus.
Yeah,
and
you need to go to Broad Ripple, have their night out, and not have to worry about driving home.
Correct.
Save lives.
And they need to design it for us. The bus needs to be safe. The bus needs to be clean. The bus system needs its own type of police force. Yeah, I say it. Indigo needs its own police force.
They need to be party buses.
So
that'll get people to ride them.
If you do stuff on the police, it's not IMPD, not showing up. It's the Indigo police. They can never beating your ass for causing trouble on the bus.
Your private police force.
Yeah, and we should be able.
We need.
Yeah, and if we have to stop to get you pulled off of the bus for the police, we should all be able to sue you civilly for making us late.
I always thought it'd be really good because Chicago does have a good train system out to the suburbs. I was like, they should do that like in the median, out 70, out 65, and up 69. Just have a train through the median all the way through, and have stops at the exits, right? And then you could maybe get some people who would drive in and not have to drive the cars on 70 and stuff. But
correct.
They're never going to do that. I
mean, think about those people that do commute. That use okay, all right. We're gonna off the topic, but like 5-minute stops. But think about we laid all that concrete from here to Evansville, not one lane of train track, right? Mm-hmm. All these people who commute from Indy to Fort Wayne, Terre Haute, Bloomington. We have no trains to really get anywhere. But we've got all these highways. We're really just like dig up and pull and put all this highway out there, but no trains to anything like that. The idea that there should be at minimum, there should be a train like from here to Chicago. That should be like an idea like, oh yeah, I get on the hour and a half to 2 hour train to Chicago that just goes back and forth, But
yeah,
no, or at the very least to Gary, take the train from Gary to Chicago, help Gary out. But I know. We don't need TSA for Gary, so we want people from Gary coming down. Wandaman.
Is there anybody still in Gary at this point?
Yeah, there's like 5 people.
All
5 people and all that rust.
Because there's a YouTube channel that does abandoned buildings, and they were doing this abandoned school in Gary, and it was completely just dead. I was like, this used to be the pool.
I know. I can't wait to abandon Chicago. Google start that. See they're moving out of their area offices. Hey. San Francisco, future Detroit. Okay. All right. Let's calling it now. Give it a few more. San Francisco.
You can't live in San Francisco if you don't have $2 million house. I mean, it's just crazy out there.
Yeah.
Everybody else lives in Oakland because it's no place you can afford a place to live.
San Francisco's problem is a lack of they've done a lot to shield a lot of the area from capitalism, like the consequences of their actions. And they try to push it on the rest of the state. Like, no, that's just you guys. You guys are crazy. Like, we need this minimum wage. No, just you. Everyone else is fine with this other amount, but that 25, that's just you. That's just you. You need that because you guys are crazy there in the Bay Area.
And they can obviously afford it.
And they can afford it. And they can afford it because they need to do that because it's that's why. So for a lot of the people live on the streets because they need these low end workers there, but they have nowhere to stay. And if they kick them all off the street, well, they can't get into work. So it's they have to stay. Can't touch them.
That's something I noticed when I was in Broad Ripple. There was all this construction going on. They were building these new housing additions and these condominiums and things like that. And I'm thinking, it's not that we're not building new housing. It's just we're not building any affordable housing because there's not the incentive is to get the high up housing that people are wanting, right? So you build these big condos or these housing additions that are really expensive because you're going to get a lot more money on that on the land as opposed to building a bunch of lower starter home houses. So now there's no starter home houses for anybody. No, and all these other places are going empty.
No, some of the vinyl villages, right? These houses out here, they're all 3,000 square feet. I'm like, I don't need 3,000 square feet. A lot of people why your house so small? It's 2,000. It's kind of huge. Okay, calm down.
I drove down Meridian. I went by my old apartment building, the Winter House, right there on Meridian and 15th Street or something like that. Or 13th or something. It's south of in between the interstate and 16th.
Doxing past.
It's just a small little place, small little 1-bedroom, but a nice big area. It had a fireplace in it, but was still fairly cheap at the time. I imagine by now they've probably prettied it up and made it a really expensive place to live now.
Yeah, $2,200 a month. Yeah, Jackie goes, Gary was first Detroit, wasn't it? The mills crashed before the cars. I thought I don't know. I'll have to. Reinhold, you were back then.
Yeah, Gary was before Detroit. Gary has been Gary for a long time.
So Detroit was
Gary when Michael Jackson was born there.
So San Francisco's not being Detroit, it's being Gary. No. If you looked there's this really nice beachfront property in San Francisco Bay that the Google office had, and they're not resigning their lease. They're moving out.
I wonder why.
There's some nice beachfront property in Gary that they could get.
We wonder why people
gotta get the smell out of the place first. That's the only problem.
All right.
No, it's just there's a heavy petroleum type smell when you drive through Gary. It's just overwhelming. I may live there without getting sick.
Ryan don't hate on Northern Indiana.
Hey, there's a song called Gary, Indiana, from the music band.
I will say that Northern Indiana does have that smell.
Northwestern Indiana. No, Northeast Indiana is not bad.
Yeah, Northeast. When you get up around, like, once you get past Michigan City, it looks real. Yeah, it smells nice. But like,
South Bend, and
but it does, like, the donuts in Munster. Oh god, some of my favorite donuts in Northern Indiana. It's Munster donuts. Shout out to Munster, Indiana, your donut shop. It's really good. I think I put on 5 pounds. Those donuts.
Yeah, you did say that. You did say that, but
yep. Anyways, let's get to the topic at hand. Another Monday, another cyber attack. Rhino, what's going on?
Speaking of transportation,
so apparently there's a company that does a lot of software for car dealerships, and they announced the other day that they've been attacked. And their systems are down. It's going to be a week or two before they can get back up again. So all the dealerships now that were using the software are having to write their deals on paper, like, we used to do in the old days when I was a kid. So you still got the older guys going, yeah, we got this, right? See, and the way they're reacting and the way they're talking about it, they won't say what the attack was, but it's almost 95% sure that it's some kind of ransomware. And I don't know if they're planning on paying the ransom or if they're trying to recover from backups, and that's why it's going to take so long. But
right.
I don't know if you guys had a deal using the dealership that had that. You might go check and see if your stuff is still around. They have record of it anymore. Okay. It might be a Fight Club situation where they're destroying all the debt.
We're not that lucky. No one's that lucky.
Oh no! If you watch Mr. Robot, that's usually the worst thing that could happen.
I know.
The government can't recover, so then the private industry puts out their e-coin, and then they have no regulations. They can screw you over really hard.
Exactly. I think the worst one was like was ladies like, I've been paying here and I've kept paper records for all my mortgage. Like, we don't care, and I'm like, oh god. Because like
we can't trust that paper, because that might not be, you might have made that all up, so we can't verify it. So
yeah, screw that. Yeah, don't let anyone discourage you of keeping your paper records of your bank statements. Remember, all your numbers inside your bank or just numbers in a database. You should have paper copies of your own.
Ones and zeros in a hard drive somewhere.
You should have paper copies, and every time you pay a bill, especially for your house and mortgage, you should.
And now that stuff's on the cloud.
Yeah, that should be on a binder. Okay. All right. Remember, the only reason Kavanaugh's a judge because he kept binders of records. I like beer. Got these calendars. So keep. Yeah. Anyways, right. So yeah, it's probably different ransomware.
I still don't think that helped him, but that's just me.
It
just made him look like an idiot more than anything.
Right, it's called comedy. Okay, right. Comedy. It's right.
Comedy. You trying to make light of the situation?
Comedy.
But somebody getting assaulted. No. Yeah. So that's the fun part of the dealership now. So if you go in and buy a car right now, you might see somebody furiously writing on triplicate, the old carbon papers and stuff in between the keep records.
Old Gills got it.
Oh, the old days. If they even make that stuff.
Anybody have a pen? I don't carry pens anymore.
There's some big rep out there like, I'm making quota this month.
I'm top seller. Nobody else knows how to fill these papers out.
Papermate's racking it up. And I'm selling the paper and the pens, 2-for-1 bundles.
God, this problem.
Can you imagine a dealer, being held hostage on money like that? Man, must suck for them. I wonder if the ransomware was like, okay, you give us this much money for the ransomware, but we're going to throw in some Z-barding on on your data when we give it back to you. We got to pay that extra fee.
All right. Now, since we had your data, Then we got the transportation fee, the delivery fee of the key. We got that it's got the undercoating on it. Okay,
destination fee.
And then that price, right, only comes with because you get the warranty. All right, if you don't get the warranty, that's not the price.
Don't worry about the engine or anything like that. We just switched it. Don't worry about it.
Oh, and don't forget the market markup. That's the new thing that they were doing last year or 2 years ago. They were doing the market markup, $35,000 extra on that truck, even though what it says on the sticker.
This database right here holds so much ransomware.
God, it's already a bad experience buying a car right now. Because a lot of the dealerships, one, they have a monopoly on being able to sell cars for people, so they can just screw people over. It's really hard to get a good deal for most dealerships. And even if you think you're getting a deal, you're probably not, because you're getting screwed over. Because these people, that's all they do all the day, is unfortunately screw people over because they don't really have any real competition in the marketplace.
So I did recently buy a new car. It was almost 2 years ago. It was a little over a year and a half. And I went to go look for a new car because my car was just at the end of its done. It was done. And I needed something reliable. So they were doing this markup thing where they were saying, okay, here's the list price, but we're going to charge an extra $25,000 or whatever on this Toyota Corolla. And I went to a couple places and they were saying, yeah, that's just the way it is. And the guy trying to sell it to me is like, you're not going to get this for anything else anywhere else, because that's just how the market is now. And it's going to be years before that goes away, which of course it wasn't years before it went away, but that's another story. So he's really trying to push me on it. I called up. So I started calling around and I found, I called O'Brien Toyota. I'll name them. And I called them up and I said, what's the price, above the sticker, whatever. Because I've never paid sticker before. I've always paid under sticker. And he said, we don't do that. Because the guy, O'Brien, who owns the place, says he doesn't believe in doing that. He's not going to do that. It's the sticker is the price. We're not going to do that markup thing like that. So I immediately said, okay, I'll be right up there. We'll get you something. We'll get something. And I almost wanted to call the guy back, the one guy who was trying to tell me that everybody does this, and say, look what I did. I bought it from here instead. But even when I was trying to, do all the final paperwork, we're like, well, here's the Z-Barding deal you can get. You can get it through us. You get this free Z-Barding thing. And I was like, it's actually a good deal. You're charging me $1,000 and I get like this free Z-Barding for the life of the car at the special price. And I don't get the every renewal you were supposed to pay extra of it, because I bought it through them. It was free. So I just go every year and get it redone for free. And they were like, okay, now we'll just add it into how much you're financing. And I was like, no. We're not putting that in the financing amount. I am paying cash for that.
Separate now.
I will pay that right out of here because I'm not financing that $1,000 the Z-Barding, because I was like, no.
Yeah. Let's look at it. Oh yeah. Finance that. You want to finance the tires? You want new tires? We'll finance it. Put that in finance too.
I put like a bunch down on it, so I was never, because they're like, well, we don't want you to get over, upside down in it. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. I'm paying down a bunch of money. We're not going to be worried about that.
Yep. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's crazy right now. It's actually always been crazy, but it's just comes somehow worse. Worse than it. Like my wife has been wanting the Honda Super Cub, the new Honda Super Cub, and everyone's just the place we keep going. We charge the outrageous amount to get the thing delivered. Well, we don't have one here, and we'll get one here the way you want it, but charge the delivery fee. And I'm like, why is it so much? It's a Honda Cub. I could go pick this up. Matter of fact, without gas, don't put gas in it. This thing could go through FedEx. This thing don't weigh that much.
Well, everybody talks about how bad the economy is, but you got these people who are just like, yeah, I'll pay that. Like I was looking at these. There were people who were selling these trucks, and they were like $50,000 trucks, but they were selling them for like almost $80,000, and people were buying them.
Yes,
because they would get it on credit. They just pay they only see how much it is a month and all that stuff. But it's like, people are paying this money, willing to pay this.
Yes.
So A, people have the money, and two, people aren't looking at their own, how they're getting screwed over. They're just signing away and doing it. And I remember when I was young, I did the same thing, and my dad kept telling me, "Don't do that. You're just paying somebody to borrow your own money." you know, to use your own, to lend you your own money back to you. And it's just like, I didn't get it for years, and then it finally clicked. I was like, why am I doing this? This is stupid.
Well, there are people that never get it, or they'll come into a random amount of money, and instead of doing anything with it, they'll just throw it at a thing. That's why, you know, when tax season comes around, it's always, hey, everybody starts getting new cars, and then by the end of tax season, those cars are getting resold.
Repo season.
Yeah. Because they have the money in hand, so they just immediately used it for the
down payment.
The dopamine hit now compared to later.
Yeah.
Instant gratification.
Yeah. And the Facebook Marketplace is also like a bit like buying a used car is really hard right now. I have actually, I used to like really get upset with people. Like, we'll just go get a used one, right? But now, I think now it's also terrible to even going to use a car, just going away from the dealership, because even I get on Facebook Marketplace and I find people with cars, and like it is just a graveyard of cars, terribly maintained at astronomical prices. People asking ridiculous amount for them, and they're not wanting to like talk. I'm like, you just want to talk to me now? Like, because this thing's a piece of junk. I want this car, but like this thing's I'm not paying that price for it. I'm willing to take this.
Or there's scams too. Right. So I've been looking to get it because I need a pickup truck. I have one, but it's years and years and years old. So I was thinking about getting a pickup truck. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not going to spend a lot of money on one, because you used to be able to just go buy one for about $1,000, right? Well, good luck now. But I did find one. The guy is selling it. I just found it today. He's selling it for $700 as a parts truck, because he said the frame is all rusted. It doesn't look great. It's falling apart, blah, blah, blah. He says, but if you want to buy the whole truck, it'll be $800, right? And I'm looking at it going, do I really care if it's all rusted? I'm just using it to go back and forth to the lumber yard to get lumber and stuff. I'm not using it as my daily driver. You know, it's just going to be a utility truck. So I'm like, maybe. But you get some of these people, and it's just like,
I know what I have.
This is like $12,000, and it's got 200,000 miles on it. I'm going,
this car is 3 years old. I never got any oil changed in it or changed the tires. Market price.
Right.
And what does Kelly Blue Book say?
Which Kelly Blue Book is allegedly a scam. Those are just scam prices. Those are awful prices. Do not base your car off a Kelly Blue Book. That is not what people are actually paying for your car. You cannot get that.
Nobody's paying that. That's what the dealerships are selling them for. That's not what you're going to buy one for.
Exactly.
Or get somebody to buy yours for.
Yeah. It's just,
the dealer won't pay that, of course. The dealers say, no, we need to make money off of it, so we need to pay you like $8,000 less than Kelly, so that we can sell it for Kelly and make our money off of it.
Right. I know now we're on cars. I was going to say, like, Facebook Marketplace is a graveyard for Nissan 350Zs and Mini Coopers, because the 350Zs people have project ideas. They go to hoon these things out, and they're destroyed. They want astronomical prices for them. And then Mini Coopers, because people buy them because they're small and cute, and they suddenly realize these things are BMWs. I always tell people when they pull up in their Mini Cooper, like, I love my Mini. Like, that's a beautiful BMW. Like, it's not a BMW. Like,
I saw somebody today selling a 94 BMW 3 or something. It was for $1,800. It was a convertible BMW.
What, the Z3?
Yeah, the Z3. And it was like, that's not really a bad price, but they didn't show any pictures of the inside. It was all outside, and it's a convertible. So I bet
they left that.
And somebody else
could be.
Somebody else, just because I'm going through the list, somebody else was selling a camper.
Yeah,
it was their project camper. That was like it ran when I got it a year ago, but I haven't worked on it. It's been sitting here. I think that the roof might leak a little. Of course, the roof leaks a little because it's a camper, and that's what happens. But they were selling it for like $800.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could work on that.
If you want a camper, hold on.
Nasty inside.
Pump the brakes a little bit more. A lot of people are getting those van life are getting repoed. Oh man, I was showing my wife sitting there like, look at this. It's like, that's a really nice like this camper. 18,000. This has clearly been repoed.
Yeah, so someone's selling one of those for like $16,000, but he did at least have the decency to take pictures of the places where it had cracked and was broken. And it was. I was like, oh, yeah, at least you're being honest. There's very few people are on these things.
Yeah, and as I said, like you can tell like the honest people that are selling cars on the Facebook Marketplace, stuff like that. Like I will say, like a bit of advice. We could probably do an episode. I could talk about like what to do when buying a used car. But step one, if you're getting a used one, if you show up and you can't touch the exhaust, it's warm to the touch. You can't touch it. Walk away. Just leave. Just leave. Just leave. Just leave. Just leave. Also, if you want to lowball someone on a car, right? Let me tell you the secret of lowballing, because I've done it a couple of times. It's the secret of lowballing, right? You will get burned, but it's the only way you can lowball someone. You lowball in the price, and you say, "I'm paying you this price, sight unseen. I'm just showing up with a trailer ticket of the car. What? I don't care. I have this much money. Like the car's $5,000. You're like, and there's gonna be issues. Like, hey, listen, I got $3,000. I'll take the car. I'm not gonna turn it on. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna show up. I give you $3,000. You give me the title. I leave. 9 times out of 10, someone's gonna take that deal, especially if there's something wrong with it. But some people are like, I don't have to do any of the hassle and looking at it, they kick their tires. No. Show up, pay it, spend money, leave. Just leave. I'm going to give you money and I'm out. I'm out of your hair. I'm not going to look at this thing. I'm going to sit around for an hour and we're not going to play this song and dance. I give you money, I leave. Yeah. Anyways, let's get to the so as car buying got worse, guess what also somehow gets worse? Windows 11.
Well, it's not worse, but it's worse. So with Windows 11,
it's not worse,
now,
it's just more inconvenient.
Yeah, well, it's just not. They're just taking away the documentation that says you can install Windows 11 without having a Microsoft account.
Right.
So you can do this, but on their webpage, they used to say if you don't have access to the internet or you don't have a Microsoft account, here's how you can get around it. Well, they've removed all that documentation off the Microsoft site. So as far as Microsoft's concerned, this isn't possible to do. True. Now, you can still do that stuff, and everything's on the internet. They're not going to be able to get rid of the details on how to do it.
And
but how long?
Updates?
Well, one of the ways you used to be able to do it now doesn't work. So there was a way that you could log in and give it like a bad email address, and it would say, well, we can't validate this email address. And you could say, well, I don't have access to the internet right now, whatever. And it would just let you through. Now it just says, no, you need to give us a good one.
Right.
So you can't do that process anymore, but you can still do the F10, log in, run the command to say, no, to take it down your network card. It doesn't have an internet, and then it goes and does it. So, and with virtual machine, I do everything on virtual machines most part nowadays. So it's easier for me because I can just pop network card off and fool it. But how long before that's not a possibility? And that's probably not going to be a Windows 11 thing, but that might be a Windows 12 thing.
Or it's eventually coming. Yeah. That's why, it's Windows 11 just keeps sounding worse. Like Windows 10 was very bent most people. I very stomach coming into Windows 10. Okay, I'll do this. It pulled me back out of Linux. It's okay. It's not as bad. But no, Windows 11 is ass bad. This is awful.
Well, it seems like they do this though, don't they? They do a good update, then a bad update, then a good OS, then a bad OS. And I mean, look, you had XP, then then we went to Windows 7, which was good. Then we went to Windows 8, which was amazing. Then we went to Windows 10, which was good.
We don't diss Windows 8 here. Okay, we respect Windows 8 in this house. Okay.
I actually didn't mind Windows 8, but it wasn't as accepted as Windows 7 was.
Honestly, I don't understand. I think it was just so radically different, and And I think my brain at that time, I was going through so many different Linux distros at the time. Like to me, I just kind of accepted it like a different Linux distro of Windows, and just like I enjoyed my charm menu. I enjoyed pressing the Windows button and all my charms popping across, and be able to see like a knock of like different dashboards and things I could click on. I enjoyed it. I thought like Windows, I loved every bit of it. Windows 10 kind of went back true to form of Windows, but I'm rocking it right now, and I'm like, oh god, I miss the beauty of my Windows 8 and I miss my charm menu. I'm sorry, I enjoyed the charm menu. I rocked Windows 8 for a long time. I think the only thing that made me leave Windows 8 was because I needed to. There was no one to support in Windows 10. Windows 8. So I had to like learn Windows 10 because I'm supporting more and more people using Windows 10. So I had to go learn this thing. Well, better than I did, and it was just sad because like hardly anyone had a Windows 8 machine. I remember evening at the office, and you sit there like, "Are you using Windows 8?" I was like, "Yes, this is amazing.
I love this. You guys don't? Like, no. Oh, what's wrong with you?
No, I know. I hated 8.1. I thought that was a step in the wrong direction. And trying to appease haters. But that's me. That's me personally. But no. I think the Copilot thing, the Windows progressively going to like always on features, locking out machines are like, well, this machine doesn't support. It's like, why? It's not like it's for pound power, like, like granted, there's some underpowered laptops out there that can't probably work Windows 11, but like everything desktop wise, and I've put Windows 11 on, it just kind of just hums along. It goes do. I see no problem.
Everybody was upset with, well, the latest version, you have to have a certain chipset, but the chipset was so old. It's like, who's still running that stuff? You know what I'm saying? It's like, really?
I'm rocking a DDR3 machine. I'm not running on one right now, but I'm rocking DDR3 machines. Yeah,
I've got DDR3, but I have no problem with it. It was a certain version of the chipset, wasn't it? It wasn't the memory set.
No, yeah, it's the chipset. Yeah,
it was like it had to be like Fire Lake or Timberlake or something like. I don't remember some lake
above like 6th gen Core i5 and stuff like that. Yeah,
just be careful with the Timberlakes. You might get a DUI.
But no, and
after one drink, that's all the bartender gave me.
And I just don't. It just frustrates me.
A lot of the issue is, and I've dealt with this for a long time with being Windows support, is that people get used to the way things are, and then any changes to it, they're just against it because they're not used to doing it that way. Like even like Excel, if you change the ribbon and put the buttons in a different place, oh my God, you think you just destroyed their ability to do their work. Right, because they can't learn where the new thing is or whatever. And with Windows XP to Windows 7, that was a really big deal because the start button, well, I think it was Windows 7 to Windows 8. That's what it was.
Correct. It was Windows 8 with the start button.
But the way that Windows used to build their start button, like you'd hit the start and then come up and then it would fly out. And then it was just a list of folders on a directory somewhere. So I had to build it every time you did it and build it every time you did it. And that was just horrible to navigate through when you could take your thing and actually pin it right to the start. You had all of these icons and you could just pin whatever you wanted to it. You set it up and you're good. You're golden. You just get stuff done. It was so much better, but nobody wanted to learn it. It was just, this isn't the way I'm used to doing it.
As far as
they'd rather go through all the fly out menus. It's like,
I can press my Windows button and then type in what I want.
Yeah,
it's so much. Except when
I can
Windows
pin it to the taskbar and I just click it on the button.
Except when Windows does that ass move and makes me search the internet. Like I want to look for my problem. Like, oh, you want to search Bing? No, I want to search Bing. I downloaded this application. It's on the machine. Don't you search Bing?
Don't you dare go out there.
Yeah, like I completely understand that. Like when I got the newest version of Word, 'cause I hadn't used like Word, like Microsoft Word for a long time before I started like going full into writing and stuff, because that's the medium it's all done under. And the stuff, it's like, oh yeah, here's this button that just checks everything for you. Yeah, it just checks all your grammar. I don't care. Like, it's just like, oh, here's a button that just goes through everything and gives you a list of all the issues. You can just press a button and it'll go to all the issues for you. So much easier and more efficient.
But you're not used to it. And that was funny because I remember watching people go from Windows 3.1.1 to Windows 95. Oh my God, you think you just destroyed their minds. Because it's like I had my program manager and I had these windows open, and this is how. And now, what's this start button? And what the heck? Why do I have to hit Control Delete to log in? That makes no sense. That's how you turn it off, right? It was just, it was so weird for people.
I had that one. That's gonna turn it off. That was me.
I remember they had a really good marketing campaign at the time with the Start Me Up and the Stones and all that stuff, and they got people into it a little bit. And a lot of people were just coming to computers at the time, so they never saw Windows 3.1 or 3.11 before. So their first computer that got them on the internet that they were just hearing about was this Windows 95 machine, so that's what they learned. But us, the ones who have been using 3.1, man, they hated Windows 95 for a long time.
Yeah. I think there's just some. I think, as much as I hate that cutoff period of Windows, I think the more thing that does it for me is because I'm just not used to it. Windows usually just works on. You can just install it anything you want it. I'll just let you install it, and if it can't run it. That's on you, not on Windows. I'll tell you, like, hey, well, that's below specs. Go ahead and try. And the non-ability to upgrade, that it stinks. But the thing with it, right? It's necessary for Windows to be able to do that, because for so long I see all these Apple users try to compare themselves to Windows, and they're like, listen, Windows supports its entire back catalog. Apple says, no, screw you, go pound sand, buy the new thing. Windows 10 is a modern...
Backwards compatibility was always the big thing.
Windows 10 is a modern marvel. It really shouldn't function. It really shouldn't do the things it does, and it doesn't. And when it crashes, it's just like, what do I do? So like, this thing is supporting like 30 years of
Let me explain something. So Windows Server 2025 is coming out soon, probably into this year. There's they haven't done a new Active Directory functional level since 2016. There's a new one with 2025.
Okay.
Because they're making a few changes. One of the things that 2025 is doing is they are dropping any ability to run Wins. Do you remember Wins?
No.
Windows Internet Naming Service, the predecessor to DNS.
Oh, man.
The very chatty, broadcast-based naming service that ran on Windows that I have customers still using.
No one uses Wins.
That hasn't been recommended to be used in over a decade and a half, maybe two at this point. Ever since 2000 and DNS came out, they were like, no, get rid of Wins. Go get away from Wins. You don't need it anymore. Oh, yeah, but we don't know what's using it, and we don't know what's going to break, so we're just going to leave it running. And I'm like, I'm upgrading these people to Windows 2022 servers and Active Directory and everything. I'm like, well, how about this Wins? Can we get rid of it? No, we don't know what we have to keep that. Okay. All right. Well, they're finally getting rid of it. That's how backwards compatible mindset Microsoft is, and that's why they lost out on the mobile market, because they decided to make Mobile 7. They tried to do the Apple thing. They created a whole new OS from the ground up instead of building off of Microsoft Mobile. It was actually in lead of the marketplace at the time before Apple came out, and thought, oh, this will be the way we do it. And it wasn't backwards compatible. None of the apps worked. That people already had on there that they were able just to port over because they worked on their desktops and stuff. And it killed it. I mean, that's what functionally killed it, because they didn't get app support for the phone. And I saw somebody today posted a reimagined Windows Phone. If Windows Phone was still around, what it would look like. And it had a Copilot button, and it had all these new it was like, yeah, that's what Windows Phone would probably look like, and it would be killer. But yeah, they dropped it because of that.
Man. Think of
The one time they get away
arm
from the
power
backwards
on it.
compatibility, they screwed themselves.
Imagine the Windows phone, right? Corporate Windows phone with DAC compatibility. You put it in the keyboard, and it communicates instantly to your Azure instance. So you just use Windows up there. It's like a big thin client. It's corporate. Instead of laptops, it's just Windows phones.
You just run in Docker apps and stuff on the thing.
Oh man,
It would be so great. And
timeline.
they have all of this stuff that they could just. I was just. It would be so great if somebody at Microsoft was just going, we could get back into this game, because it's just Google and Apple now, and Google's got a huge vulnerability that's out now that everybody's trying to get them switched to cut over, because it's there's government entities now saying that they have to be off of that version of Google, which isn't that old. They have to have this new patch of the Google phone, a Pixel, by next week, or they're not going to be able to connect anymore, right? So mobile device management is stopping that. So there's a lot of issues there. Microsoft could get back into the game, and they could kill it with all the Docker stuff and all the Linux stuff that they're doing, and being able to run you can run Linux applications, APKs on Microsoft now. You can do it on the phone. You could have it all there. All your apps would work.
The Windows ARM processor has that x86 layer, so you can run x86 on ARM processors. So then take Windows x86 programs on the fly with your on your phone. Oh man, this is like no, you don't need to develop. You already got Discord for x86, right? Yeah, already works on your phone. What? Just install it and go. It's got an ARM layer. So good. You're good. It emulates,
and they're cloud loading everything now. They're making Dockerized versions of all this stuff. It's like you just
come back.
And the problem is I love the Windows Phone interface so much.
It wasn't.
Now a lot of the stuff that was great on Windows phones have been getting pulled into Android. Over time, and even then, even when they were still competing, they were borrowing a bunch of stuff, but it was still so much. I like the squareness and the buttons. I don't know. It just seemed better to me. And they would probably go away from that because it's like, oh no, it's not what the industry standard is now. So we're going to switch it. I'm like, no, you should be innovating. You shouldn't be you should be pushing the standards, not, just following along. And that's what they started doing. They started following instead of leading. And that's what killed them.
I mean, Microsoft is very much into the backwards compatibility. Even with their consoles, the Series X or whatever the current one is can play 360 games, like a large swath of 360 games.
Yep.
So they're even in the console stuff, they're backwards compatible. But
where Nintendo wouldn't let you do that. They'd say, no, you have to get the emulator or buy the new version.
Whoa. Nintendo wouldn't let you do that because it's a fucking different mode of game disc every fucking time. The only ones that were connected were the Wii and the Wii U, because you can't put a disc in the fucking Switch because it's a cartridge. But
slightly different cartridge.
Yeah.
Slightly different.
It's a special cartridge with chemicals of the bitter chemical on it, so kids don't eat it.
Yeah, you still have to blow it though, right? To get it.
No, it just clicks in.
Yeah.
But
how many of us have tasted the bitter chemical?
I thought I was dying. Because I didn't realize what it was. Because I was like, what is happening? What am I saying? Why is this happening right now?
You tried it?
No, it was I put a game in the console and I ate something right afterwards without wiping my hands off. So my mouth had that bitter flavor. It's like, what's happening right now? What did I do?
I had the same reaction when I ate the Oops All Berries cereal. I don't know if you've heard about that. If you eat Oops All Berries, your poop is fluorescent green.
Nice.
And the first time that happens, when you don't know it's going to happen, it's like, what the hell's wrong with me? I got to go to the hospital right now.
Help. Please help.
It's like, oh, my
But
My pancreas has exploded. Now I have bile everywhere. It's all in my system. I got to go to the hospital.
I didn't know I ate things that were bioluminescent. I didn't know it was happening.
And I didn't. I still didn't know what it was. I was like, this is weird. I'm having some, And then I was listening to a podcast like 6 months later. It was the Hardwick podcast. The Nerdist, right? And one of the guys on there, Jonah, on there said, hey, when you eat oops all berries, it comes out. I was like, oh my god, it's not just me.
This
Okay,
explains
fine.
everything.
People should know this. Why isn't it somewhere on the internet where it's just like, hey, flashing, you're gonna have this issue?
I think it should be on the box.
Right.
Yeah, it should be a warning somewhere. By the way, don't be alarmed.
But there's the other point when you're talking about that. You understand why they're having the random cutoffs for older things for Microsoft stuff. That's kind of what they have to do with the games at this point. Is for a long time they were making games for the X and the S or whatever, and like the lesser, so they had to spec the games down to match the weaker consoles.
Yep.
So because of that, you spend all this money on this super powerful console, and it looks the exact same as on the old console.
Yeah.
Or you have this amazing PC, and the game is running on 30 frames a second, and you want to die.
But that's another reason why Apple is a little bit more stable than the Microsoft Windows environment, because it's not having to sit there and support
everything's engineered.
Yeah,
everything's enginered to
in-house
work as one thing. That was always Jobs' vision, was everything just worked.
Right.
Whereas the Microsoft side of things was, let's just cobble everything together, and you can have homebrew stuff, and you can do this and this and this and put it together and it'd work. And you can, it was almost like Linux in that regard, only it was proprietary Linux, basically.
Correct.
That's kind of what it was. But it was still, let's get these people we can support all these different people can make peripherals for it. You couldn't do that with Apple. You had to buy Apple stuff, because then we would have drivers, right? So only with Apple approved drivers would work. Yeah, everything would work if you used it on the Apple, because it was designed that way. You didn't have 20 million mouse makers making all different types of different drivers for it, and having to maintain it. Every time you pop it in, it's got to go look at the driver list and see if it matches. You got to download new drivers. Not a problem on Apple, but you also have to spend whatever they want to charge for mice, and you have to have the one button mouse for, I don't know how long they had the one button mouse, right? And because that was the better way to go until they decided it wasn't. But you get all kinds of mice on the Windows devices. You get, I get this nice gaming mouse with all the buttons on the side and all this fun stuff that you couldn't get on the Apple.
The RAID mouses where it has the numpad where your thumb is.
Yeah, like the 10 thing like the side. But yeah, you will, if you pay whatever they want to pay you. But it all does work out of the box, and it communicates with things. Like, there's some things that people like, even on my Apple, and I'm using the Apple at work. There's some neat things that it does out of the box. But I go like, I could do this in Linux and PC. It's neat that it doesn't have it in a box, and I don't have to worry about like putting something on it. But like, this is some neat feature. This is just me adding something like there. It's
not magic. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's not magic. Yeah. The feature I'm talking about is, so I've got one Bluetooth keyboard and mouse, and I can swap that between my work Apple, then click over to my iPad, then just click over to my personal Mac Pro, and just keep going back and forth through the three Macs using one Apple keyboard, one Apple mouse. Can you do this in Windows? You sure can. There's tons of different products out there that let you go between your Windows PC, your Linux PC, and your Mac. You can link them all up to there. And it's great if you're dealing with a bunch of servers and an entire rack. It's really freaking amazing.
Right.
It's been around for decades.
Correct.
Another comparison that you see all the time is how they do in a lot of like strategy RPG games, where you'll get a very strong unit early on that can just like take out everything, but it's worthless late game because it's already at basically max stats already.
Yeah,
like
pretty much.
Fire Emblem does it on every game where you have like, oh, here's this general who barely gains EXP and is as strong as he'll ever be, and then you have these other units that can actually level up and become much better than that early game character that you just kind of put away.
Yeah. Like I get this Apple. It's about 3 years old, 2 years, 3 years old. I want to upgrade the video card on it. You have to buy a new Mac for that on a Windows machine, or you just done. But new one in.
Yep. Yeah. And it's hey, people enjoy it. People like the way it's.
Well, there's a function for it. I mean, there are people who this is all they want. They don't want to deal with any of all that stuff.
Right.
That's fine. They're perfect for Apple. They can do that.
Correct.
You know, there's Dear Leader, perfect person for Apple. He doesn't care about all this stuff.
Correct.
He just wants to work. So
yeah. And me personally, I'm thinking about using all my social capital at work to switch off from going a Dell loadout for a new PCs next year and go for all framework. Love the idea. Love to be able to switch to the framework. But the idea of the company, like, you want to do all frameworks. But we have Dell support. Yes, but we could have frameworks. I don't know. I like the idea.
Just do all Win terms. Who needs a run everything on the server cloud mainframe? We just call the Win term a 3270 and just be done with it, right?
Could make my job all easy. Just go all Apples. Like, nope, taking away all your PCs, getting nothing but Apples. I don't do anything. What? Oh, you got cloud support. I don't need to do that. I'll buy a new Apple.
Because trust me, nobody's ever had to deal with Jamf.
Yeah. Jamf happens in the background. No one notices that. You just pay out the nose for Jamf.
Yeah, except when it doesn't work with computer certificates in an Active Directory environment through NPS.
Oh, it hates that.
Which is a pain in the ass.
It hates that. Working.
Not gonna lie, you guys could just be making that up, and I was like, yeah, totally. Because that totally does not sound like a real thing.
JAMF.
Yeah, like JAMF. That totally doesn't sound like a real thing.
No, it does pretty good. It's just the simple, like, when you try to put Apples in real corporate enterprise environments, it's a pain in the butt, and sometimes it just don't work. It can't do what you wanted to do, and then so a lot of people use it in corporate areas that don't have compliance. But if you have compliance and we have to have strict controls, like, sorry, your Apple's the first thing to go. What? Go to a hospital. You won't see that many Apple devices.
Why can't you just make the Apple devices, the iPhones, work with Intune and be done with it? You don't have to have this stupid Jamf thing. It'd be great. No, you got to have your own special mobile device management system that just, whatever.
Yeah. Or just bring back X server. Can we have our Mac server back to control all things so we could just have it just talk to our Active Directory server?
What? Yeah, just make the Apple. I mean, how long has it been? If you want the Apples to be working inside of a corporate environment, make them work with Active Directory, because I'm going to tell you right now, 90% of the places you're going are going to have an Active Directory somewhere.
Yeah. Because
just put a client in there, built in. You don't have to do it.
And before those people go like, it does work in Active Directory. You can use login for Active Directory, but I can't control the
no group policies.
Yeah, I've got no policy. Like, you can use it for login, but I can't like make it so you have to make sure your screen locks, making sure your drives are encrypted. Other compliance crap that I have to make sure you're not hicking in USB sticks, make sure you don't turn AirDrop on, make sure. Because like, I swear to God, that time you get this like, well, I turned AirDrop on to send something to my phone. Did you turn it back off? So I had AirDrop on.
That turns off?
I know, right?
When you boot up your laptop in the Starbucks, you're in trouble.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, so I logged into the work computer with my personal iCloud account. Whoa, son of a bitch. Anyways,
we could do this all night long.
We sure can. So before this episode gets too long in the tooth, let's go ahead and wrap this sucker up. Right, hold. Do you have any final words on our topics for today?
Nothing except if you've got Kaspersky software out there, you better get it gone, because it's been deemed ineligible to run in the United States now. So get rid of it. It's a Russian spy device now.
Yeah, remember, Russia bad, China still good. See us on TikTok. Vincent?
Whatever you guys said, I don't know. I really wasn't knowledgeable in these topics today. So I was kind of here.
Thanks for playing.
Yeah.
It's fine. That's fine. This is fine. This is fine. This is
I mean,
fine.
it happens. There's some episodes where, you know, we talk about anime and Reinhold's like, just kill me. You know,
Yeah.
you know, it's fine.
All right, that's fine.
We could have talked about the Fed all night.
Oh, God. To do the Fed, or can we talk about how like once the BRICS nations go onto the gold standard, that'll be the end of the BRICS nations? What? It's like they're gonna go to the gold standard, and I just go like, please go to the gold standard.
Yeah.
Please.
Good luck.
Good luck. You're gonna have no gold here in a bit.
You have to have JP Morgan give you $52 million in gold just to keep your government afloat, like we did before.
It's kind of hard to get loans in gold. Is it possible? Yes. You can have a gold-based currency, blah, 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 blah. But I don't think you want to do that.
Oh, and I love these people who are like, well, we can have alternate currencies. I'm like, okay. How's that Bitcoin working out for you? Now it's nothing but a speculative market like an IBM stock.
Yeah.
That's all it's used for now.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing
currency.
Yeah, it's not a currency anymore. These other people have ruined it. They've ruined it, you know, but that's the way it is, the way it goes.
Yeah. And the Fed takes money from you in order to do loans and back and forth and do stuff, right? But what happens when you have all these different currencies and you've got to convert them back and forth in order to work with people, and they're money changers who are going to take all this money and these fees out for you? Well, that's going to be a fun time, isn't it?
Anyway, crypto money changers called like where you like shadow crypto go in and shadow crypto comes out. You don't have to worry about it. Just pay your gas fees. Anyways, it'll be okay. It'll be fine. We'll work this out. I love the idea. Magic. I love the idea of active competitive currencies. I think it's a neat idea. And
as a nice hobby,
just like we already have. I think we already have competitive currencies out there. I think it's great and amazing. But they actually have to be used as currency in speculative markets. So
it's a great idea in theory.
Right. It's easier for me to move around World of Warcraft gold than it is Bitcoin.
The gas station up here by me used to have a Bitcoin like ATM type of machine where you can take out cash for your Bitcoin. You know, it lasted about a year and they took it out because nobody's using it.
Yeah, no one uses it. It's space. Well, the simple fact is also really slow. Like, have you try to use the Bitcoin network? Just try to use it. Look how much fees you have to do anything with speed. Good luck.
I still have some Ethereal sitting in a wallet somewhere.
Ethereum's dumb. Anyways,
this episode's getting long. What you're saying? The Web3 investments didn't pay off?
See, if everybody would just switch over to IPv6, everything would run so much better.
No, it wouldn't.
Are you saying that NFTs were a bad idea?
Yes. NFTs bad idea. IP version 6 is bad idea. What they should be working on in the blockchain is a blockchain DNS. But no, you can't make billions of dollars off that, so we can't get blockchain DNS. Oh, sorry.
Guess what happens though? Here's the fun thing. Let's say we end the Fed and all we have is Bitcoin. You don't think the bankers are just going to buy up 60% of the Bitcoin chain and then all of a sudden own it? Because once you get over 60%, don't you kind of own the bit chain at that point?
That's not how it works.
The chain? Okay.
That's not how it works.
That's how it works.
That's how it works. You can't really own the chain.
You control.
You can't just like buy up all the different miners and stuff like that in the exchange.
What's the number? Because I know it's not 60%, but there's a number that once you get that much of it in your control, you control the entire thing.
There is an amount. Gonna lie, I'm not gonna sit here and cope with like there's no amount.
I'm
But like,
pretty sure Chase and those guys can pull the money together and make it happen.
yeah, I'll just sit there and squat on the coin. Of course, when it comes down to it, like if you own the guys using the transition lines, because these freaking Bitcoin billionaires aren't paying to get people to use, so you can use Bitcoin without the internet. You know, you need people like me to sit there and go like, hey, let me show you how to get this thing off the internet. And it's like, well, why you need to do that? It's like, dude, you're just packets on my network. I can stop your packet. I can encrypt. I just stopped that. I encrypt. No.
We stopped all encryption. And we're SSL spoofing everything that goes out of our network and into our network. So we're decrypting and recrypting with our own little homegrown certificate, and now we have access to all of that. Yeah, thank you very much.
It's just simple no. It's just no. Unencrypted. What? You can't travel on my highway. You can't travel on my highway.
Bro, I own it though.
No, you don't.
I spent money and bought it. It's mine now. Don't you
I want to give you my 0.006 Bitcoin for that NFC.
We're gonna get
NFT.
Whoa!
To this end of this episode.
That amount of Bitcoin is not going to buy the whole NFC of the NFL.
No, yeah.
You need at least 3.
Anyways, thank you everyone who listened to this episode. If you made it this far of the episode and have feeling Bitcoin hate, you're a true key holder, and that's we thank you. This is a live recorded podcast that recorded on 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Mondays. Come hang out with us, chat with us. We'll talk about different subjects and stuff like that. We like to have fun topics and talk with us. You can watch us on twitch.tv/wearelibertarians or youtube.com/wearelibertarians, and I'll post a link in the Walnut groups once in a while. So you guys come hang out with us. I really appreciate it. So thank you and have a good night. Say bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.